What's going on, y'all? All right, so Friday. This is our trade recap for March 28th. I almost missed the move I've been waiting for. I almost missed it. I caught a piece of it, but I did miss my entry. We're going to dive right into that, but man, watch. This is the recap for March 28th, Friday, right? Watch the one from yesterday, Thursday, the 27th. I literally laid out what I was expecting for today, and it did it to the T. Man, it did it. And I missed what I was looking for. I missed my entry, and I'll show you why. There's a reason. See, when you're trading with these ICT concepts, everything has reasons. And if you miss something, if you fail, if you have a losing trade, there's always something you can learn. There's typically something you're missing. All right. So keep that in mind. And today I missed it, and I couldn't get in after I missed it because I didn't want to feel like I was chasing the entry, but I had a very specific target. Okay. Very specific target. And as long as I could get an entry before it hit that target, that's what I was going to do today. All right. So we're here on the weekly. Again, I mentioned this on my last couple recaps. We have a weekly fair value gap here. We traded up looking to head down. All right. Let's go to the daily chart here. Again, I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I mean, look at what happened. I mentioned this sell side liquidity here. I mentioned this fair value gap with the volume imbalance right here as potentially getting inverted. But I wanted to bring your attention specifically to this right here. And I said if we trade through this, which we're likely to trade through it, we have some clean sell side liquidity right under here. We're going to go through that. Like, I had zero doubt about it. We're going to go through that. And we're going to take the sell side. We delivered well to the long side, all right? So let's drop down. I'm going to leave that there. Let's go down to the 1 hour so I can show a little bit more here. Okay, so we were all the way up here. And if you look, this was the other day. This is that order block I mentioned from Thursday that we have a potential order block here. Okay. Right here, this bar took all this liquidity, buy side liquidity, came down. All right. And then what did we have here at, let's see. This is the 10 a.m. bar. We had this right here, 1 hour fair value gap right there. Okay. At 2 a.m. But where did price come back into it? 6 a.m. bar, 7, 8, 9, right here, and go down. All right. I'll elaborate on that a little more in here in a minute. But this is the level right here that I was looking at. This low. That's sell side liquidity. Because we had relatively equal lows here. And then that one there. And then I also highlighted. Here, let me go to the 4 hour. This imbalance right there. I had my eye on that 4 hour imbalance right here, which is actually an imbalance, not a fair value gap. Well, we'll just leave it there for the sake of time. Okay, so, and then here from Wednesday, we had a 4 hour fair value gap. I really don't use the 4 hour too much for my analysis. I use the daily and go down to the 1 hour, but I glance at the 4 hour just to see what's going on. And here in this case, I saw us trade up into the lower half and continue lower. And here's the same relatively equal lows with this sell side liquidity. But then since I noticed this volume imbalance, I was like, let me go ahead and mark it. And then here's that ultimate sell side liquidity down here. All right. So let's go back to the 1 hour. There we go. That's what I was looking at. Okay. There it is. So because price opened here and we came right up into this 1 hour, it started coming down. We're going to get to that sell side liquidity. Let's drop down to the 15-minute fair value or 15-minute chart. Okay. We're back here. Okay. So if you look, well, hold on. Let's go to the 1 hour because I want you to see what I was looking at pre-open. So for the moment, I had a bit of sell side liquidity here, like minor sell side liquidity, because that's a swing low. Then I had this here. So let me go ahead and mark it right there. Then I have this swing high as a buy side. Okay. But I'm like, it's a buy side, but it's not an area I'm expecting price to trade through, especially since this bar on this 1 hour closed in the lower half of this fair value gap. Look at it right here, lower half of the fair value gap. Right here, same thing, touch the middle, close underneath, and then right here at the open, we shot up, stayed underneath, and came down lower. All right, so let's go to the 15-minute. 15-minute, we're back here, right here in this area. So I'm like, okay, this bar down here, we came down, basically made relatively equal lows. Now, this wick did take this one by a little bit, but from here to this one, relatively equal lows. I'm talking about that one to that one, right? So I'm like, okay, relatively equal lows. And that's the sell side. So we didn't quite get there. So like, that's looking good. But if I want a move to expand lower, I really want some manipulation to the long side, right? So here's that buy side I marked. But what do we have here? Look at that big gap. Big 15-minute fair value gap, right? Came back up. Here, let's get rid of this 1 hour so we can see. Came back up where? To the middle of it right here. Came down. Rebalanced this little fair value gap. Came up. Okay, displaced down. Yes, we inverted this 15-minute fair value gap here. But look what we did. We came back up, stayed in the lower half, right? If I measure this wick, look at the midpoint of it right there is that orange line, stayed underneath it. And then closed down, inverted this, right? It's still early. This is the open, 9:30, inverted it, and then headed down through that sell side liquidity. Now, because of the way we looked up here, I'm already telling myself, I don't need price to go higher, right? This is that daily fair value gap here. Well, it's the volume imbalance. Let's go back to the daily so you can see that right here. Because we traded here, let me rename it. Because we traded through it, like we don't need, like that's it. We traded through it. Like it could come up, use the lower half and keep going. But I'm expecting it at that point to keep going, right? Because we already traded through it. So if I go to the 15-minute, and because the way we traded up, it's fairly balanced here. Like it delivered pretty well. Yeah, it might be leaving some buy side liquidity here for later, but it looks very well delivered, right? So now I'm waiting to see if we drop, so we could take this sell side liquidity down here that I mentioned earlier. 576.50, that's the level I was eyeing, and then eventually through this 4 hour gap. Fair value gap right there. All right. So that was my thinking. My overall bias was short. I was looking for the short. And let's drop down the 1 minute so we can see how that worked out. And so you can see my mistake and why I did not get the trade I wanted. Man. All right. So let's get rid of this. Since I have some more annotations over here on my chart that I traded on. Okay. So here we go. Here's the 9:30. Here's Here's our open. This is what we're looking at. So here's that minor sell side liquidity I had, that 1 hour swing low right here, which lined up with, what is this? The London low. So that was the London low because we were still in the same range because we have the London high up here. So we were still inside the London range. Okay. So we opened here, traded kind of into this fair value gap and dropped and took this sell side liquidity. That's not my trading model, so I don't take that. All right. So we took this sell side liquidity. So now as we're coming up, we left this first presented fair value gap. I'm kind of like, okay, we have a couple options. Do we come up and take this buy side liquidity, close the opening range gap, which is up here, take buy side, and then drop? Because we did have some 10 a.m. news, consumer sentiment. So it's like, okay, do we sweep this minor sell side? Do we come up and sweep some buy side and then go? Like, what do we do? I got to wait, right? So we ended up coming up here to this higher fair value gap, which is right here, which is also previous day low. Okay, so let me get rid of this fair value gap now that you've seen it so I can get rid of it. It's also the 8:30 opening price. There's a couple levels here, right? So you can see price closed there, respected it for sure. Now, immediately comes back down. Here, let me get rid of this one so we can see. Immediately comes back down. And what I'm looking at now is because this up candle, like I don't really need price to trade all the way up there. That's what I'm looking at. I don't need it to. If it does, great, but I don't need it to. But I need it to be obvious that we're going to go the opposite way and go short before I can go short. So I'm looking at this candle right here as a bearish order block potentially because we had these highs and we did have that fair value gap I mentioned right here. And what did this bar do? It took all these highs and went into this fair value gap that was here. And then immediately the next bar closed lower. So I don't know at the time if it's going to be an order block for sure. So I'm going to take the entire body because it's a big body. And I'm going to measure with my fib and have a 50% mark with a low and the high and a midpoint of this bar. And I want to see if price does return, how does it react between the midpoint and the lower portion to see if it's a good bearish order block or not. And as you can see, initially we came to the middle here and then came down, dropped, and then bam, poked up a little bit, but immediately displaced lower. So I like that. We immediately displaced lower, taking these lows. That's what I was looking for. We need to take these lows and leave a fair value gap. That's exactly what I was looking for. But let me show you something. Let me show you my mistake. So when we displaced lower, right here, we came up, displaced lower, and took these lows. At that point, I'm like, all right, if we return to this fair value gap, I'm going to short it, and I'm going all the way down. So here's the thing, and you've probably seen this a couple times before. Here, you have two fair value gaps, right? On this 1 minute, you have this one and then immediately this one, back to back. I never just take the lower fair value gap because it could reach up into the higher one, right? So if you take the lower one and have a stop somewhere here, price could reach up here, take you out, and continue down. To me, that messes up my discipline. So I don't like to do that. So I never take the lower fair value gap. Now, here's a caveat to that. If they're back to back like this with no skips or breaks in between them, I will combine them. So we have a fair value gap. I'll combine them. I forgot. I did not do that today. I don't know why. I normally always do that. Today, I don't know why I didn't do that. I don't know. We're humans. We make mistakes. So I didn't do it. So this is what I was looking at. I was seeing price come up here. This is the middle of the last week's range. Seeing price come up here, and I was like, oh, if we reach this one, I'm going short. And as you can see, we came up here, inverted the first presented. We stayed under the first presented fair value gap. Stayed here, stayed here, stayed here. News at 10 a.m. Did this little clean out here, and then delivered. So I don't know if during that talk you spotted the problem, but after all this and that news, I was like, you know what? I didn't combine the two because they're back to back. Let's see what that looks like. Combine the two. Now look at this. You can't make this up. Midpoint of this pullback right here. Exactly to the middle. Because this is the area I wanted my short. Now, if I would have seen this combined and if I would have seen that we came right to the middle and then came down and closed here, I would have shorted right there. That's exactly where I would have shorted. And yeah, I would have had to sit through a little bit. News. But my stop would have been up here. And I would have never had any heat. And then guess what we did? Obviously, you may know now. We sold off. So I was marking these fair value gaps to look for potential entries because I know it's not guaranteed, but I have such a high anticipation for this sell side liquidity down here that I'm like, I know, like we have to get down there. So we come down. I was looking at this fair value gap, this one. The first one that pulled back into was right here. But I was like, I don't know. I don't want to feel like I'm chasing the trade. Like I might be done. Let me be done. Let me not trade. And then we kept going. And then we had this one. Pull back up to it. Boom. Came down again. I was like, oh, I could have shorted that one. Because what should happen is every PD array coming down should stay respected until it takes out that sell side liquidity. It should. Like that's what should happen. Does it always? No. But it should. It should, right? So I was waiting and I was like, oh. And then we got here. This is last week's low, this dotted line. And this, that sell side liquidity. And then we pulled up. I'm like, ooh. If we reach here, I'm going to short that to come back through sell side liquidity. Because that's also a 5-minute fair value gap. And we also have a little 1 minute. I'm like, if we reach that, we're going to go down. But then what happened? We had this little inversion. This little fair value gap right here. I was like, okay, we have a little market structure shift. We came here. Are we going to reach up? I don't know. But I really know we're this close to that sell side liquidity. There's no way we don't get through it. Like, no way. So I'm looking for an opportunity. So then this happens. Boom. And we get this 1 minute fair value gap right here. We're stopping at the midpoint of this one, so it's not inverted yet. But then as soon as I see us close here on the lower half, and then we're kind of staying in the lower half now, I'm like, okay, this is not going to hold. If we come back up to this 5-minute gap, 1 minute gap, I might go short. And so what happened is we had this wick reach up, right? Reached up and then closed down. So I measured this wick like that. And as long as this next bar stays under this orange line, the midpoint of it, stays within this fair value gap, I'm shorting. So I shorted right here. Yeah, stayed in a little bit, came back up again, stayed underneath the midpoint of this 1 minute fair value gap. And actually I had my stop right up here. It wasn't a big stop. And my price markers here of my entry and stuff is, I don't know, it disappeared. Because it's now, if you see the time, we're past the market time. So my orders are cleared, but I'll pull up my screenshot here in a second. So I was like, okay, my stop's here. I have a small stop. My entry's like around, I got to see exactly where it was, but it's around here, just to say 25. My stop was right up here, like 10 points. My target was right here, this sell side liquidity. So we're looking at like 30 points. So I have like a 3-to-1 on this. So as soon as I saw that, I'm here, my stop's there, I'm just there. Boom, we get this little displacement, fair value gap. Then we shoot down and take out, hit my target. Call it a day. So I did not get that entry I wanted, which was beautiful. That was the entry I was looking for. But I missed it because of that mistake. But here, as we got close to sell side, I knew it was inevitable. We're going to take this sell side liquidity. So let me find an opportunity where it could potentially be low risk and I could still get a nice little profit. So that's what I did. And then it came down, took that sell side liquidity, then obviously it came down further and, did its thing. So close there. So yeah, that was that. And that's what happened. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. Not going to complain. The read was there. Everything was great. It's just my execution was not the best. So let me pull up the screenshot here real quick. Yeah. Here we go. Got my P&L there. I didn't have the recording because at that point I was kind of like, it was a 1050 macro. Stop recording. I was like, I'm probably not going to get anything. Because on this move down, I was like, yeah, we're going to take that sell side. But then when we pulled back, I was like, ooh, I might have an opportunity to short to that sell side. So a little over $8,000 on this trade. See, what's that? 30 points? Yeah, 30 points. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. So I'll take it. It wasn't what I wanted, but I'll take it. And the wheat green, actually, yeah. Monday. Oh, I had a break-even trade on Monday, and the rest of the days this week were green. So I had a great week. Great week, for sure. All right, so that was that. Let's pull over. We have one trading day left. Just give you an update here. I put in for some more payouts. Got some last night, some today. So now I'm just shy of 20 grand withdrawn to my bank account for the month. Made just under 56,000 for this month. I'm having a really good month. If you're watching this and I show this to show you what can be. I've been trading, and I keep saying it all the time. I've been trading for 5 years now. It took me 4 years to become consistently profitable. Okay. It's something that's a process, but with leverage, with prop firms, discipline, money management, like you can do really, really well. Okay. Yes, 90% plus traders fail, but it's all here. I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody says. It's all here. Yes, of course you have to have a strategy, but it's all here. Okay. So don't give up. Don't give up. And win rate is at a really good level. I do want my win-loss ratio higher, but as I said yesterday, it's because I had a mix in contract sizing at the beginning, first half of the month. So, yeah. See, 4 days win streak here. Looking good. Looking good. All right. So, and of course, you get the haters on social media saying, all kinds of stuff. So I like taking screenshots. You'll see this is my account I took today. My withdrawals for the month. All right. You'll see the same. I own these PA numbers. You're going to see these same PA numbers because I posted a screenshot the other day that says I'm not in the business of blowing PA accounts, right? I've had the same PA accounts for, 10 months, whatever. Have I been withdrawing on them every single month, every single 8 days? No. Like I built them up over the course of all last year. Did I start with 20 accounts? No. So like some are a lot older than others. Like I built up. I had 3 accounts, got paid out, bought a few more, got paid out, bought a few more. Like I'm stacking. I'm building up. And why do I do that? Because if prop firms go away, I want to still be able to trade. So like I copy my live personal account with the Ninja Trader brokerage. So I have to trade it all the same. Like I just have to. Otherwise, if I do like prop firm type trading, I'll blow it. And then if the time ever comes where I have to just only trade my own money, I don't want to feel like helpless. Like who wants to feel helpless, right? Like you want to learn a skill and be able to do something that nobody can ever take away from you. That's just my thoughts anyways, right? So yeah, just under 20 grand for the month. And, look, payout number 8, 6, like I get multiple payouts, 7, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, some of these are first timers because it's like I said, I didn't start with 20. Look at the days traded. So like, just keep that in mind. Slow and steady, slow and steady. So just want to give an update on that. It's the end of the week. If you're going into the weekend, if you're struggling, take a step back. Take a step back. You also get away from the charts a little bit and just zoom out, right? Always be analyzing, trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? What can I improve? I'm still doing that. Do I have it all figured out? No. Am I doing pretty well? Yeah. But can I do better? Of course, everybody can. So just take that with you into the weekend and always focus and try to get better. Just try to get better. So that's what I use my weekends for. But at the same time, you don't want to just be glued in front of your charts all weekend. You want to have a life. If you have a family, you want to spend time with your family. You got to separate sometimes. Just like if you're working a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, right? Like, do you want to be off work and like go spend your entire weekend thinking of work? Probably not. Like, you need a little escape time. So anyways, that's all. Little rant at the end. So yeah, that's my trade recap for Friday, the 28th, March 28th. And if I get a trade Monday, of course, every day, win or loss. As you know, I take one trade a day, but win or loss, I'm going to give you my recap. I'm recapping my losses too. Since I'm not trading live anymore, I wanted to make that commitment that I'm still going to show my trade, my analysis, my thoughts, since I'm not live. Like, it's one or the other. I either need to go live or do a really thorough recap, win or loss. So that's my thinking, because I do want to truly help people. That, everybody that's coming up, if I've been there already, hey, you learn from other people's mistakes. So anyways, I could rant forever, but I'm not going to. I'm tired. I got to be up early in the morning, so I'm ready to hit the bed. So anyways, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll see everybody Monday. As always, trade well and take care. Have a good weekend.